Well, we are actively looking at the future options vis-a-vis quarantine. And we're looking at countries in Europe and elsewhere who've had a similar successful performance as we have had with bringing down the level of infection and controlling the virus. The chief medical officer is also looking at the data publications from those countries and how robust they are. And we're talking to those countries as to how we can work together so that we make sure people can actually travel safely from the UK to those countries and back, and vice versa. And the Secretary of State for Transport will be saying more on this in the days and weeks to come. When we introduced the initial triage at the beginning of this pandemic, to triage people into quarantine from hot cities like Wuhan, then expanded to the whole of China, from Iran, from Japan, from northern Italy, then the whole of Italy, it was absolutely the right thing to do because we were in that containment phase of the virus. As the virus began to take hold and spread in our communities, and where the scientists said, look, we can no longer be in containment phase, we're in now delay phase, they made it very clear that that triage and quarantine had very little difference to the outcome of the spread of the virus, which is why we took them away. But now that we're back to very low incidence and control of the virus, the concern is that we could be importing the virus in and it could spike again. Which is why we've got them in place. But we will review them in 21 days from the 8th of June. So the 29th of June will be the review. And as you quite rightly just asked me, we're also looking at what other countries have done and how the countries that have been successful and how robust their data publications are, and see how we can work with them to make sure people can travel safely and return back and make sure that we deliver a system that continues to... Look, the virus hasn't gone away, Libby. It still lives amongst us, and we have to remain alert and remain, as vigilant as we can be. Test, and trace is an important element of this, but a really important element is us working together. We want to make sure we open up the economy as steadily as possible whilst not getting a second spike. The worst of all was for me to come on your program and say we've had to close down the economy again. Because that would be, as the business minister, I can tell you that would be an existential risk to business and the economy in the United Kingdom, and we do not want to get there. And so we need to make sure that track and trace works really robustly, and it is. 87,000 people were alerted from the 10,000 people who actually called track and traces. 87,000 people were alerted and are quarantining so that they don't infect other people. And we'll publish more data next week on track and trace as well, which demonstrates the direction of travel continues to be on an upward trajectory.